Hey there, it's Holly. So I bit the bullet on a movie I didn't really feel like watching, but I felt like I kind of had to, and that is Dhurandhar 2, The Revenge. If you'd see my first video on the first movie, I was a little torn on it. I didn't know what to make of it. I did note that there were some elements that I wasn't a fan of, that I wasn't sure of. More so the depictions of the Pakistanis themselves. And I was hesitant with this one, partly because of the reactions, but also because I had done a smidge of research in that I looked up some letterbox reviews when it was coming out just to see what the opinions from like actual Indians were. And it got the mix of like positives, like 5 stars, this is great, and then like 1 to 2 stars of this is propaganda, this is like pro like India over Pakistan, like all the little things that it's not we'll get into. So I did try and keep an open mind with it, still even knowing that. But like I did that for the reason of if it would enlighten me into some of the issues that the target demographic had with it, because I'm not. That said, this is a very well done and well acted piece of propaganda. And I'm not saying that 100% as a bad thing. Sort of. It is, but in a different way. Propaganda, the way I see it, is any movie can just be propaganda. Propaganda itself is not negative. If a movie is about the army, U.S. Army, Indian Army, Pakistani Army, Irish Army, whatever, that's propaganda. If it's about like a country at all, that's propaganda. Good, bad, or different. Like best descriptive like thing I can show is example is Top Gun. Top Gun is American Air Force propaganda. It does not demonize or anything like the enemy. It's just the enemy. There's nothing like that. It's just to promote it. Captain Marvel, propaganda for the Air Force. It's fine. Any old war movie, propaganda. Like that's just how it is. This movie is that. It is propaganda. And like I said, it's very well done. It's well shot. It's very well acted. All the actors are great. Most 99% all the same actors from the first movie. They were all good. It's just the messaging and the depictions. There's no haziness like within the first one, where I was a little like hesitant on like the exact amount of queerness, or like the depiction of the queerness within like the gangs, but it doesn't have that. What it does have instead, which is one of my big issues with the movie, and I'll get into my second one in just a sec, but one of my big issues with this movie is that it, besides one character, and she barely qualifies, like just barely makes the mark, all of the Pakistanis in this movie, all of them, are either part of like the terrorist cell in some form or another, like Mujahideen, or talking about jihadists or whatever. Either that, or they're completely okay with what the terrorists are doing and are fine with Indians dying. With the one exception of Hazam's wife, Hamza. I'm sorry, Hamza's Jazz Karat's wife, Yelena. She is Pakistani, but like she's more hurt by his portrayal of him like lying to her than anything else. It does come off that the way the line in the scene is done when she finds out that it does feel like she's more upset that he's Indian than a spy, but she does, like, you can tell that she still loves him. They have a kid together. She hates that they can't be together after this. So, like, she's barely, like, she's not even, like, she does betray him, but because she's forced to by a person who's presented as good for a bit, or at least normal. But that's the thing, it's like every other depiction is bad in some way or another. That's my big sticking point, is you can have a war movie, you can have a propaganda movie, you can have like soldiers go to any country, and like if it's a country that has civilians, if the movie the movie is featuring an enemy country and it's showing civilians, and everyone, including civilians, are evil or portrayed in some kind of bad light, then that's bad. If like, my example would be like 13 Hours, the Benghazi movie. They could have easily just had everyone be part of the terrorist group. No, they showed a couple, like, just normal people who didn't hate the Americans. Were they happy that they were there? Maybe not, but they didn't hate them. That's the big difference here, is that everyone was bad. And it kind of, it paints that picture in people's minds of like, hey, they're all bad. Like, if you don't have one good person, or at least two good people, then it muddies the water. It only shows one side. I'm not saying like, oh, you need to show like the Indians be evil too, which they kind of did. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, if you only show one particular version, then that's what people are going to see. It is something that America did do right after 9/11. Or I'm not saying we didn't do it. We did it. Like, we had Muslims and all that shown horribly for a good while. But I don't remember any American movie, at least mainstream in theaters movie, having this scene that bugged me. There's a couple scenes that bugged me. This one did, where the SP officer, head officer of the SP force, essentially sets up this Sikh couple to be attacked, to be brutalized by the extremists. And you have this scene where they're dragging the husband out and they're like beating him and stuff. The wife comes out, they're beating her, then they light both of them on fire, and they just treat it as like, haha, good. Yes, the scene is also supposed to show that they're evil, but I cannot think of another movie, at least that I'm aware of, that showed that level of brutality kind of thing. Like, they may hint at it, they may do like something else, but like the way it's shot, the way it's done is just like excessive. There's a lot of excessive violence in this movie that is like almost like they want you to cheer. There's a bit too, like this is the part that really bugged me, was several, but there's a scene where Hamza is going through, him and his men are going through like the rival gang's area of the town, and they are brutally murdering them. Like, some of the kills are like Saw level. Like, it's insane. Guys' heads are getting crushed by like those shutters you pull down in front of stores. People are put into barrels of oil and explode it. meat hooks through them, faces like blown off, like all this stuff. Like, like it begins in the whole movie begins in a flashback, and it's just the amount of violence in this is excessive. And I know, like, I can feel, like, I saw this with like 3 other people, but I can feel like if this was a full crowd, the idea would be that it's cheering because it was giving like the cool shots and stuff, and that rubs me so much the wrong way. And I'm not saying, like, this isn't me saying, oh, we can't show bad people get hurt. No, there's an extent though. Like, yes, eventually he does actually start killing like the actual terrorists who killed a lot of people. I'm fine with that. That's completely okay. And during that scene where all of them are dying, they're dying in normal ways, just being shot in the streets or in coffee shops or in their car and stuff. Normal things. Like, it felt like right at Munich, really. But it was just normal stuff. But when they really wanted you to, it takes forever. Like, near the end, one of the guys, like, it gets beat up, face kind of slashed, punched in, stuff, hand stabbed, screaming, blood, and then like his hands like attached to this desk, and the desk gets pushed off of like the floor that's already been blown up, and his head gets crushed by the desk. It's like, too much. That's too much. That's too much. And then like the final guy's legs get cut off and thrown into a kerosene like tanker and blown up. It's just like it's. I've just maybe for me it just feels like it's too excessive. And I would have. I'm not saying that, like, once again, like if this was done, if like an American movie or whatever, any other country did a similar movie, I would have the same complaints. I would still say that's too far. Like, legit, like, some of the kills in this one, I have seen almost maybe Saw and definitely Terrifier, the only movies that have, like, exceeded some of this violence. Like, well, maybe Tarantino, but, like, those movies are, like, overly excessive, and this is that too. It's... I hate that it sounds like I'm just railing on this movie all the time, but, and once again, I'm probably going to get railed in the comments again, but there was, I'm heavily paraphrasing this review on Letterboxd, so I'm heavily paraphrasing this, but it is somewhat insidious on this, because the movie is well shot. It's very well acted. The movie is like nuts and bolts and all of that. A good movie. Except for the messaging and the portrayals. Because it's so good at what it's doing, it's making it look like it's cool and okay and all that. That's the issue I have with it. That's why I'm like, I can't say like this is a movie I want to watch. Like, I don't think it does its job extremely well. It does its job. What it set out to do, it did really well. As a piece of like anti-Pakistan, anti-Muslim movie, it does it very well. And that's what it was supposed to do. And it accomplished that. I don't think that's a good thing. And I'm aware that there is a lot of like animosity, a lot of history, a lot of violence between India and Pakistan, Muslims, Hindus, all of that. And like, once again, if I saw a Pakistani movie or like a more Muslim country movie, whatever, do a similar movie but reverse, like against Hindus and Indians, and like the same kind of movie just reversed, I would have the same complaints. I will say though, there's a little bit of exaggeration in some of those letterbox reviews, where they were saying like this is a pro-Zion, very Zionist movie near the end. Technically, yes. You find out that one of the leaders, one of the heads of something, had met with the Israeli government to sell Pakistani nuclear secrets, and the Indian government, like Indian spy government, found out about it and blackmailed the guy. Said, "Hey, you let our main guy go, and we won't release this information out, and you'll be fine." And that's it. So you can technically say that Israel saved the main character's life by existing, and that's about it. There's not too much other stuff that's like, I went in on an impression like, oh god, this is going to be like they're going to use Israel to save them and stuff. Technically, yes. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. But, you know, it's still, I don't know I don't know if they really needed Israel to come in, but this movie is based on true events, so that probably could have happened. That's the other thing, is that there are definitely parts in this where I can say, that's not probably how it happened. Being that the final fight scenes probably didn't happen. The way that the some of the fights and stuff went down probably didn't happen. The excessiveness probably didn't happen. Like, I don't think, like, unless I'm completely wrong, I don't think that one of the gang members, like the leaders, took a person's head, like took a body into the street, chopped off the head, and started playing soccer with the head. I may be wrong. That feels a little excessive to me. I don't think the kerosene thing happened at the end either. The part that I do believe happened was the televised like shootings of some of the people, like the terrorist leaders, and the aforementioned run through like montage of like the various terrorists being killed, like in the coffee shops and stuff. And there's like a gunfight at like one of the headquarters of the Mujahideen. That gives me the impression that actually happened. There is some truth, like that part, sure. That part, like the stuff that feels more realistic, probably happened. The stuff that doesn't, that's where I have the issues. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this really to anyone, unless you really like the actors, which, fair enough. Some of these actors are really good. Like, all of them are really good actors. I like all of them. It is funny where it's like, the villains are, the actors for the villains are so charismatic. I'm like, I think I like the villains more than the hero here. like he's still good, but like, no. Oh yeah, I'm all over the place with this, but I during the first movie, I was trying to figure out who Major Iqbal, whatever, looked like. He reminded me of someone. He looks like Indian Bert from Raising Hope, if anyone has seen that show. And Radhavir Singh, especially with the beard and the hair, looks like Indian Seth Rollins. I was like, oh, it's Seth Rollins. That's just me. But, yeah, I saw to see it. It's definitely less ambiguous for me than the first movie. The first movie was a bit more ambiguous on how do I view this. This one I find like kind of reprehensible a little bit, the way it's handled. I get why it's made. I don't discount why it's made. I just say that the excessiveness and the one-sidedness is not needed at all. Besides all that, I do have one last thing to say, and this is not to anything about the movie per se to Regal Cinemas, AMC, NCG, Cine Bistro, whatever, the MPAA, whoever's rating these movies. You might need to start rating these movies because they come to us as not rated and we just let people in no matter what. And especially with this kind of movie, with this level of violence, I don't think parents should be bringing their like babies or 2-year-olds or 4-year-olds to this at all. I even had a customer come up to me once, I think, for this movie and say, "Hey, you know those like babies in this watching this movie?" It's like, "Yeah." It's like, "You know how violent this movie is?" It's like, "Yeah, but unfortunately it's not rated, so we can't do anything about it." It's like, "Really?" Because back where, like at home, like in India, it's like rated R. Like the kids wouldn't be allowed in. It's like, huh? Like if it's in that country and it's rated R, the same rules should still apply here. It still should be rated R here. Like I have seen a few indie movies that are just like, why are kids seeing this? And we have it as not rated. Like whoever, like if any rating system people are seeing this, please figure that out, because maybe people shouldn't be bringing their 2-year-olds to a movie that involves people's faces getting chopped up, or like people's legs being cut off and stuff. Like maybe that's just me. I just feel like it's a little touchy. But yeah, this, like I said, this movie was well made, well shot, well acted. But just the way they handled certain things, I just found, I just, yeah, like I just found it just, it did what it was set out to do. It made all the money it was going to make. It's going to make some more money. And that was the point of this movie, wasn't it?